Hey guys, have you written any songs lately?
A couple, yes.
Yeah, I've written 2 or 3.
Yeah, I'm quite proud of how they turned out.
Me too, as am I.
What about you, Paul, who actually writes songs?
Only in my Neil Breen Dreams.
Join me in the Breen Dreams.
I don't want to ever have a Breen dream.
Do you think he calls his films Breams? I've got another Neil Bream.
What was that about fish?
Oh no.
I think it would be more like, I've got another Neil Breen.
The world's not ready for it. He's such a hard man to do an impression of. Because what is that voice?
He is, yeah.
Do your dullest voice with Christopher Walken cadence.
Your loudest, dullest voice.
Hello, and welcome to One Good Thing, the podcast that deserves to be destroyed by the truth.
Fuck, that was going to be my intro. The best line.
Do you want to take the one I was going to use for my name? I was going to say I'm Paul Breen and I'm now free of PTSD.
No, I might just say the same thing.
Oh, okay. I love it. Go for it.
They'll love it. Fans will love it.
I'm Paul Breen and I am now free of PTSD.
I deserve to be destroyed by the truth.
We are joined by Baby Beard Media. How's it going, guys?
Hi, good. Hi, it's good. Hi. Yeah, it's good.
Pipe down! Hang on a minute. I asked a question, and then I heard what you said in response. What's going on?
It's because we've condensed our beards down into a single point.
Holy shit, a single massive beard.
Yes, that's correct. And such, it's more efficient for me to beam my beardy thoughts to you.
There's a lot of words that sound like Breen at the moment.
Too many.
Good like Breen.
Oh.
Yes, we are solely joined by Phil off of Baby Beard Media.
I'm a weird dude.
And we welcome you because you have today brought Neil Breen's 2016 experience Pass-Through.
I am artificial intelligence from far into the future. I have taken on this human body in order to communicate with the humans. I can move from one time plane to another. I'm going to eliminate hundreds of millions of the human species.
Accountants and CEOs are missing.
It's as if all the harmful people on Earth are disappearing.
Lead a revolt against the politicians, the corruption, and the injustices that we all know.
I have brought it.
How is it 2016? We checked this yesterday. And it just is.
It's just reassuring.
It's a modern marvel.
People say, oh, they don't make movies like that anymore. No, they make movies like this.
Dozens of people apparently made a movie like this.
Literally dozens.
Yeah.
It wasn't all Neil Breen.
Somehow he got them all on board and kept them on board.
The film stars Neil Breen and his people puppets that he has. The puppets of Breen.
And a drone. Definitely stars a drone.
A drone what he bought.
With a camera on it. Holy shit, this is the future.
It's some sort of amazing flying machine.
It's
Camera.
It's veering into David Lynch, that impression. I quite enjoy it. Because I feel like there are similarities here. I want to get Neil Breen and David Lynch sat in a room together.
I'd say the dregs of Lynch have flecked onto the film as well, and I'm being very charitable there. But there is a lot to discuss, Paul.
Oh, fuck me, there is.
And
okay.
Phil.
Yes, there's plenty to discuss. I get what you mean, though. It's sort of like he stumbled ass first into a sort of Lynchian aesthetic.
Yes,
yeah, it's definitely stumbling.
Got a lot of significance to items. He's got, like, objects that gain weird symbolic significance. He's got in-camera effects, or, like, weird editing effects representing magic, which is something Lynch does a lot, especially nowadays.
There's apparent non sequiturs slotted throughout the film.
Yeah. Inexplicable characters giving seemingly bad performances.
It's
quite Lynchian.
Yeah. The more we talk about it, actually.
Oh, Christ, none of his 5 films have a Rotten Tomatoes or Metacritic score,
No.
and I couldn't find any serious critical reviews at all. It does, however, have 5.6 on IMDb and 84% on Google, so he's doing all right.
Good on him.
He's doing better than The Last Jedi. Daniel J72760, catchy name, on IMDb, says, I would recommend watching this with friends after y'all done with exams and realize that you're broke as hell and can't afford to do anything else. Under those circumstances.
Just
and those alone.
Those specific circumstances.
Oh, you get even slightly wrong, you wake up in the future. I mean, to be
Neil
fair,
Breen
you
is
always
there.
wake up in the future.
That's true.
The proper future, you know what I mean.
The Neil Breen future. Oh, fuck me.
Breencher.
In a slightly more positive note, Watery Bint on YouTube says, the utter ramblings of a madman.
Oh.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
concise.
that's
I thought she was going to elaborate, but no, it's
No,
concise.
I like it. It's a new form of criticism. The utter ramblings of a genius. That's the other option.
Is that just one of those two? 7 million reviews.
All spot on.
She's only reviewed the 4 Neil Breen movies, and it's either one or the other.
Oh, Christ. So, Paul, you artificial intelligence. Oh, no Threeman, by the way. I don't know if that's a surprise.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I know. Actually,
No.
You know what? I didn't actually check. Wouldn't it be a fucking miracle if someone from this movie was in a different movie that we've reviewed? Oh my god, that...
Fucking hell, it's Christian Slater!
Playing immigrant number 5.
I know it's illegal, but I gotta do it, says Christian Slater. Fucking hell. Alright, I will continue to look into that. Some of these people have IMDb profile pictures, so
Hey, look.
it's a crazy world.
I'm feeling good about this.
So they actually have careers.
Produced by Neil Breen. Cinematography by Neil Breen. Film editing by Neil Breen. Production management, Neil Breen.
Neil Breen by Neil Breen.
Assistant to Neil Breen. Neil Breen.
It's going to be Paul Salt soon. You know what? I watched Film Worker the other day, a fabulous documentary about an actor called Leon Vitali. You might know him because he played Barry Lyndon's son in Barry Lyndon. And after Barry Lyndon, he became so obsessed with Kubrick that he went and actually became his sort of PA for the rest of his life and gave 30 years of his life to Kubrick and his sort of incredible, ridiculous demands. Great film. But he said that it started because he went and saw A Clockwork Orange at the cinema, and when the film credits came up at the end, written and directed by Stanley Kubrick, he said, I want to work for that man. Gentlemen, I really want to fucking give my life to Neil Breen.
Are you worthy, though?
I've got to be involved somehow.
Might he not judge you as a liar?
Oh, shit, or too politically correct.
You're too politically correct. You harm other humans, Paul.
Oh, fuck, I'm a harmful human.
You knew this. You've just been waiting for Neil Breen to say it.
Thank you, sir. It's like Whiplash, you know, he threw a symbol at my head and I knew I wasn't good enough. Oh,
Before we
Christ.
get into this,
Yeah.
did Neil Breen predict the snap?
Yeah, basically.
Basically.
Except he's like more focused than Thanos. He's specifically targeting people who are bad.
He
By
even
his
says,
weird
like, I turned
criteria.
them into dust. I was like, hey, this guy's he's got it figured out.
2 years in advance. God, he's amazing. He has Breen the future.
And the past.
Fuck me.
I really wished he was going to leave it there with that line. I've seen the past. Yes, so we all of us have, yeah.
You gotta wait for him to Breen his next bit. Oh God. So Phil, you artificial intelligence from the far future.
Yes.
Isn't that corrupt? By which I mean, why did you recommend this film?
So I watched this film at a drunken New Year's with an old friend when I was back visiting the UK a few years ago. And it just stuck in my head since then. We were drinking martinis and tequila.
Marbrinis.
Yeah, Marbrinis. And it stuck in my head as like one of the most baffling experiences that I've ever been through. It's difficult to call it a film. It is an experience.
It sure is.
And like a virus, I had to spread it to you. So that's why I'm here.
It's very much like Tarkovsky. It's sculpting time using a hammer.
Someone else's face. Swung from the feet.
Well, that sounds like a creamy, breamy dream. What happens in Neil Breen's... Is it Bream or Breen? Breen. I should know this if I'm going to work for him. What
not a
happens in
fish.
Neil Breen's pass through?
That's a really good question. It's a really good question, Paul. It starts off with like a tiger and a caveman and some clocks and some drone
that's
footage.
Correct. And some weird like black shadow effects moving over stuff.
Yeah, which perfectly sets the scene, clues us into the lore of the world, and lets us know kind of what the frame of reference we're in is. It's really grounding.
It definitely is. My first note just feels so petty. It's that the first note is, wait, aren't those two in the same room? Referring to the two kids. That's very much the... I mean, Jesus Christ, what a thing to be upset about at this stage of the film.
Have you written any songs lately?
I've been working on a couple new songs, and I'm really proud of them.
Yeah, I've written like 2 or 3. Yeah, I feel good about them. Yeah, you should come over and listen to them next time.
God, they couldn't afford 2 bedrooms. That supposedly in different houses.
We have, I think, 3 separate scenes of kids in a bedroom talking about weird signals.
With
books. I think those are meant to be 3 different scenes with books.
Yeah, and as the cameraman audibly walks between them. I mean, they're science kids, right? They're all pretty excited.
Yeah, and they've got a science man on the phone as well, so they're pretty scienced up.
In my notes, they're the space kids.
Nice, with a Z.
Yeah, that's right.
In space, it's weird.
It's a bit hard to go scene by scene. So there's like 3 plots, right?
Yeah.
There's the space guys, the kids in the old guy.
Yeah, which goes
There's
nowhere.
some refugees.
Yes.
Yes,
getting smuggled in. Yeah, refugees from the nation of California.
What is it?
I say hurry!
I said tell us what the signal.
Move, 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 move!
Yelling at us. Why are we getting in this tunnel?
Shut your mouth! Keep moving.
Yes, very diverse group of refugees.
Breen Erica.
with some like really questionable relationships between them. So there's like an old white lady who is the grandma of a small black child.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's fine. It
There's
can happen.
25-year-old Latino-looking lady who's looking for her black 25-year-old niece.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait. Are you saying that those characters were aunt and niece? How did you deduce that particular relationship?
Why are we running? We have to keep running. Your mother's my sister. She was murdered. I swear to God I'd take care of you. You're my niece. We have to keep running.
Had a hunch.
Because I'm your mother's sister.
We've got to keep moving. I'm your aunt.
And of course, finally, there's the main through line of the film, which is where a drug addict gets possessed by a red dot from outer space.
Is that what fucking happens?
I'm
Because
pretty
he's a
sure
drug
that's
addict.
what happens.
That explains quite a lot, actually.
That's quite neat. That's like when when you're watching Under the Skin and someone's just like, "Oh, she's an alien come to get meat for her species." Oh,
hang on. Hey, Nell. Nell. He's a drug user and he gets possessed by the red dot in the sky. That's how that happens. He's not just the guy, like a god doing that, like shooting heroin up from the beginning. So there we go. I feel a lot better about that. This film's genuinely good.
Okay. Well, we'll end the episode.
God, well, no wonder that this god entity being came and took over this
Neil
guy's
Breen.
life.
So Kevin Spacey's not in fashion anymore, so he couldn't go back into him. So instead, K-Pax reference. So instead, he went into Neil Breen, a far less problematic figure.
He genuinely doesn't even know how to shoot up heroin. I've really got to help him, says the AI. Look at him,
He's just sort of
squirting it on his arm. Yeah.
I assume then that his next 5 scenes are him coming down from the heroin that's in his system, because he's like taken over this body. And it's still got heroin in it, so it's like...
That would explain why he spins round and round inside a medicine wheel.
And why he just appears to be a bum to some kids.
And why, there's sort of 17 scenes of him waking up in different places and then falling asleep again.
Might also explain his eccentric performance and the fact that he decides to kill 300 million people. Back with the immigrants, they've smuggled in drugs, which gets either taken off of them by the people they were meant to hand it over to, or... it gets confiscated by security checking. I think after stopping a man and woman who were both pretending to be pregnant, a man with a tiny toy gun doles out the drugs for the various people they're going to go to, including the CEO.
The CEO and the resistance.
And the bankers.
Yeah.
And the international bankers.
Resistance.
Yeah, it's a big packet for the international bankers. They love their coke.
Very fond.
The nasty men also kill a couple of them. As well.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, some of them just
and why do they kill them?
Because they just have absolutely no value for them on the streets.
You two are of no value to me on the streets.
I'm all he's got in the world.
Grandma, why'd you shoot her? Because I have absolutely no value for you two on the streets.
We've got to talk about the woman. She seems to be the sort of HR person for this particular people smuggling operation, and her approach is direct.
I'll say. She's trying.
She
very
really
hard.
is. I think she's new, and she's trying to make an impression on her supervisors.
When they just before this moment, I know we got a lot of ground to cover.
That's fine away. I don't think the audience will notice if we do this out of sequence.
They burst through like a fence, right?
Yep.
With razor wire on top.
Uh-huh.
But right before they burst through it, there's this very long, lingering shot of like a bloody hand.
Yeah, an already bloody hand.
Just gently stroking the barbed wire.
Yep.
Did that mean anything to you
I'm
guys?
pretty sure if you look carefully on the hand is written the American Dream, and it's like fingering the barbed wire covered in blood. You see, it's all nonsense.
It's complete nonsense.
Does that explain why they intercut? Well, they just put that little scene just in again for half a second when they're climbing over the fence with no barbed wire on it.
Well, it's a different person gently fingering the razor as they're climbing over.
Oh, I see. That's actually very clever.
Oh, I have just written the note here. What fucking country have you all come from exactly?
Yes, that's
I'm glad it took me that long into the notes to decide to write that down.
Whatever
From
country
Breen
they come
Erica
from,
to Ameribreen.
whatever country they come from, they hate their politicians.
Oh god, they really hate them. They're so corrupt.
I hate the politicians in my country. They are so corrupt. They persecute my family. They killed my husband.
I hate the politicians in my country. They're so corrupt. They killed my wife.
What's it gonna take to make the change happen? When's the change gonna happen? When?
They're corrupt?
Yep.
Several other reasons. But mainly it's because they're all so corrupt. And too politically correct.
So in the chaos, two of them escape.
Yes, two of them decide to run away, and then run away whilst a man fires a gun at them at point-blank range, managing to miss them.
And you don't find out that they're actually alive, I think, until a couple of minutes later.
Yeah.
That's tension.
Oh, yeah. That is tension. It's, yes, I can't remember either of their names. I'll just call them aunt and niece. And they're the same age. The niece might be older than the aunt. And they run into the desert, at which point they encounter a Neil Breen.
They do. At the same time, the space enthusiasts decide to track the signal and start wandering around the desert. And they also run into Neil Breen.
He was so sure that this was the area.
He never gets out of his hospital bed.
Hey, have you found anything? Or seen something? Some homeless bum.
But they're like,
Yeah,
he's just a homeless Breen.
They encounter some random man, and they're just like, have you seen anything?
Yes.
I mean, any more specific? I really wondered, like, wait, do they know him? It's so bizarre. But anyway, Breen meets up with aunt and niece.
They're not happy about him to begin with.
No, they are not happy. They don't want water off of him. They don't want his filthy shelter, even after he cleans it up. By gently chucking cans out of the window.
I'll let you and your niece stay in my place. I'll stay in the car up front.
No, we can't stay here.
It'll be fine.
No,
I'll clean it up.
There's no way in
worry
hell
about
we
it.
can stay here. No.
You have to trust me.
Stay here.
I'll clean it for you.
Oh my God! What are you doing? How did I get here? Oh my goodness! What is this? What are you doing? Oh my God!
It's clean. It's all clean.
All rubbish in this film is cans. If there's any kind of refuse, it's just cans. Cleaned
it's
out
clean.
cans.
It's all clean. He says with a smile.
Hang on, says Neil Breen in his house. I don't need to get any extra props for this film. I've got it all here in my pantry.
He looks... I mean, okay, so full disclosure at this point, I've seen another Neil Breen film. I've seen Pass Through. And in that...
Cans in that as well.
The man
You mean
eats...
Double Down?
Yes, there are cans. Double Down, yeah. Oh, yeah, this is Pass Through. Sorry. I've seen Double Down. They're all very much a oneness, I have to say. It's very much like Ingmar Bergman exploring the same premise from different angles. It's very much like that.
How many auteur directors can we cram into our comparisons today?
I have listed so many.
Actually, Ozu is a more comparable thing to do there. Or maybe Haruki Murakami. Let's fucking branch into literature whilst we're at it. It's the same story, but like different.
Look, I've got Malick in here. I've got Kubrick, Tarkovsky,
Scorsese.
I've got what's his face from Upstream Colour and Primer.
The violence was very Scorsese, I found.
Shane Carruth. Oh yeah, that's true. That was pure De Niro. That
the budget was very Primer. I'll say that for it.
When the aunt throws the rock at Neil Breen's face,
and he goes, "Oh,"
and he goes,
"Don't come near me. I'll kill you, you fucker."
I won't hurt you. Oh.
Ow!
And you remember in Warrior, to get all the Foley, the sounds right, they Foleyed some guy just punching a side of beef. And in
they filmed. Neil Breen recorded 12 hours of him throwing cans at a side of beef.
Throwing cans at a Tekken sound effect.
Fuck me, I can't even remember where I was starting. Oh yeah, my note is here, more scenes of bickering, and then it's back to planet Earth. Because it has a very... there's Attenborough for you. It has a very Attenborough-style pan around. Sorry, that's what I was saying. It was about how in Double Down he eats tuna out of cans. That's what his character does. He's meant to be a Jason Bourne-style super spy. And he just... I'll sample a line from that film where he just says...
I don't need much to live on anymore. I just eat tuna out of the can and live in the car.
He literally says that at one stage.
We also have like a lovely bit where we go around the refugees and they all get to announce why it is that they're running away from whatever it is they're running away.
Yeah.
And they say great things like, I have no life.
I have no life.
I was weak, but I've learned that we can all of us, can be strong and get through these hard times.
I'm pregnant!
I'm pregnant!
I'm pregnant! She just yells it like she's feeling really left out. I'm pregnant!
Meanwhile, back with aunt and niece and Bream. They ask him what his name is. They like him now. I can't remember why. And he's like, my name? And he looks around and he sees a pack of like weird diet food that's like Light and Fit. And it's like, my name is Tony Light and Fit. No, he doesn't. He says, my name is Till, spelled Thgil. Pronounced Till. And they're like, huh, that's weird. Anyway.
That's odd, but...
I think they really...
They ask him if it's a foreign name.
Breen then goes to a rock circle where he starts slowly twirling around. The camera and the music both lose interest in him, and drift away. But then they come back again.
This had me laughing out loud on my own.
Yeah, me too.
Oh my god.
That was my first big laugh, I think, was when the music pipes back up again. Very, very Birdemic.
It pauses, and then it just gently fades back in as the camera comes back to him, spinning still. It's so good.
What was the decision?
It's like, oh wait, no, hang on, you've got to see this.
What was the decision? How was that? How did that look in the Breen Dream? What was the... Fuck. Anyway, next scene, he returns to the caravan, and they're like, oh my god, your name is actually Light! Holy fuck!
Your name, Till. That isn't your name. That's Light. Light. Spelled backwards. Isn't it? Have you seen the future?
And oh fuck! At this stage, I think he says, "Yes, my name is Light," and he explains his plan to kill several million people.
I've eliminated 300 million humans from the planet today. In human terms, I have killed them all.
bad people, harmful people.
I think he kills 300 million.
Yeah.
Yes, in the end he does. I mean, the very next scene is my favourite scene in the film. It's the newscasters.
Oh, oh heavens.
It starts with them grinning maniacally at camera with a countdown. And we think, okay, they're going to go live. And it's like
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go to commercial.
And they drop the smile. So, what? They were counting down to commercial whilst they were just grinning at the camera.
Neil Breen knows his secrets, right? And you've never been in a newsroom, Paul. Neil Breen has. He dreams them all the time.
The next thing that happens is they...
I call it the newsbream.
As soon as they cut to the fucking commercial, they're like,
What an asshole that politician was.
I can't believe he just said that.
He is so damn extreme and biased.
And then it cuts to them... I think there's another countdown. And it cuts to them saying, very informative.
Thanks for that, politician man.
Thanks, politician man. And it's like, weren't you just at commercial?
Yeah, the commercial, it was like 3 seconds of commercial.
Then they say, God, he's such a bastard. I hate that politician. But it's not clearly delineated that this isn't still on air.
Thank you, Senator, for that thoughtful and sensitive interpretation.
Very thoughtful and insightful. We're constantly putting out our own corporate slanted news, half-truths, putting our own spin on it.
We're just as biased and prejudiced in how we present the news as the public is. We have just received breaking news.
Yeah, no, they make no bones about whether it's...
Fuck. I think this is when he shouts... Yeah, that's it. He frees the immigrants, right? Mm-hmm. He goes and disappears. He gradually fades out various bad people, including the angry lady who was in charge of the immigrants.
Who the hell are you? What the hell are you doing in my house?
This is my universe.
I will kill you.
I will eliminate all of the people like you.
You are done.
No, you are done.
I'm done?
Done.
Now, it's time for my second favourite scene of the film. He approaches a building. He disappears the two guards who were facing the building they were guarding. He enters. I assume we're meant to think that he dons a disguise, because he transitions into wearing a suit. He then enters the building and is just stood awkwardly amidst 4 people several times.
I mean, to be fair, everybody stood awkwardly because they're all superimposed into a catalogue picture.
Into a picture of a nice room. Oh. At which point, they start discussing the evil things they all do.
I know senior national elected government officials who I can force my political bias and influence on fellow politicians to vote my way. For a payoff, of course.
Isn't that corrupt?
I know companies that can hack into any government, national agency, or corporate facility. For the right price, you can get any information that you want. And they don't need to know why or your reason. These places are so vulnerable and unprotected. And there is no way they can keep up with the technology.
Isn't that corrupt?
And there's about 5 of these. There are about 5 of these moments where, isn't that corrupt? And everyone just stands awkwardly for a few seconds. And then we cut to some of the same people.
Some,
but
not necessarily playing
the
same roles. With different audio quality in each of the rooms.
That's right. And each one, before they speak, there's a good second or 2 of silence.
In which Neil Breen
and then
looks
a really
around.
audible breath. Eye control.
Well, people don't talk like they do in films usually. You have to take a second and a half at least to digest what the other person said.
It's too natural. That's the problem.
That's right.
Ridiculous on film.
It's too real.
He leaves to Brielle. This is the reality we all have to deal with now. He leaves.
No,
and
before he leaves, someone goes like, who is this guy? Who invited this guy?
No, I'm sure that's after he leaves. He just wanders off and everyone's like, who the fuck was that?
Who was that guy?
I have no idea. Never seen him before.
Who was that guy?
I have no idea. He must not be from here.
You didn't know him. 4 people in a room. 3 of them don't know who the 4th is, so they just talk about their evil deeds.
And then we get to see a tiger tattoo.
Yes, on Auntie's back.
Very cleverly,
back.
Seamlessly revealed. With a close-up on her back as she rolls her t-shirt up.
And then she just walks 3 steps forward, and that's the scene.
What a reveal.
And she smoothly...
Genius.
It's very seductive, the way she really struggles to get that t-shirt off.
There's a couple of things I need to step back to, which is when he's explaining his wonderful powers and who he is. Because it's all about dark matter, dark energy, quantum physics. String theory.
Yep.
And he just lists some things, and she's like, yeah,
Some Wikipedia
great,
entries.
awesome.
Then he gets out a rubber hose.
Yes, the rubber hose.
It's that whole list is bookended with the phrase, I can bend time.
Yes.
He runs out of things. Did I mention bending time?
That's
Is
the
that not
main
convincing?
bit.
Somewhere in this complete mess is the sequence of, what's that on your face?
What's on your face?
Oh, I guess it's dirt. I think I slept on the ground last night. In the dirt.
Oh, this is dirt because I fell asleep
in some dirt.
In the dirt, and then it stays there the whole time.
Oh, God.
He's in this because I note this because we go back. He takes over the television studio now.
Yeah.
And the whole time he's giving his speech, his face is just covered in grime.
Well, I just want to cover him doing that.
Human evolution has ended, and there can be no further advancement. You have demonstrated your inability to live in a truthful, honest, trustworthy, and accountable way with your fellow man. Illegal wars, the abuse of the media systems, films, TV, radio, the internet, as vehicles for a positive change. It's insulting. The glorification of violence and corruption, as well as political correctness and the fear of the truth, has ruined the human species. No more excuses. No more second chances. No more third chances. No more warnings. No more sympathy. The humans have tried that for hundreds of years, and it hasn't worked. And it never will.
But it's revealed that he also wants to get rid of, in addition to the politically correct, who he compares to the sort of like oppressors and slave owners and such, he also mentions the casts of fatuous... No, I'm sure this is the news presenters who do this. The casts of fatuous television shows about individuals, groups... I can't remember the whole thing, but the cast of Geordie Shore have also fucking gone the way of Thanos here.
They've been turned to dust. I also like that he disappears all the bad people, and then he goes, now, you have to overthrow all of the bad people. You're like, it's one or the other, man. You can either start a revolution or you can just remove the problem.
I really, really enjoyed coming to save the immigrants, only to tell them to go back to their own countries.
Fuck this guy.
What are Neil Breen's personal politics? He doesn't like, but he likes the environment.
Yes,
but he doesn't like PC things.
Yeah. No, he hates that.
He wants immigrants to go home.
He wants the truth.
He definitely wants the truth.
But he also wants to kill people who disagree with him. So, fuck me. Now, I had to write a fucking diagram to explain this shit, this next scene. Because he's on the run, right? Like, people are coming for him or something, and he finally meets with the kids.
Yeah, they re-pick up the signal, and they go, oh, we've got to go find him. And they
bring the old man this time.
Professor friend out of bed. So they can wheel him around in the desert.
And they're going through the desert. They finally meet with him.
It was you. All this time. It was you. Take me.
Take us with you. Hurry, get out of here. The police and the military will be here soon. Hurry.
No, I can't take you. You need to stay here so you can tell the truth. Don't worry. No military or officials are following.
It's like, let me deal with your concerns in order.
Also, here are some diamonds.
Yeah, which he drops most of.
Otherwise, no one will believe you. I met an AI from the future who possessed a heroin addict. Prove it. Well, where else would I get these diamonds?
Well, how about this?
It's true.
That's a sort of pouring it onto somebody's desk. Kid, get the fuck out of my office.
And then the rando girl, the niece, she just goes missing.
Uh-huh.
She just vanishes from the film. I think like 10 scenes earlier, there's a thing of her there's a shot of her like sneaking out of the caravan, and then we get to this point, and Auntie is like, you have to help me find her. You have to help me. And it turns out she's just gone to a mine.
Oh yeah,
to hang out with a guy with PTSD.
Yes,
that's right.
Jim.
You are now free of PTSD.
Thank you for freeing me.
Someone else comes and points a gun at Breen, and for the second time, oh no, he shoots the person with the gun. I don't know. Oh, it's her ex-husband.
Yes,
the auntie's ex-husband.
Ex, yeah.
And he comes and shoots both auntie and niece, and then points a gun at Breen, who says, "Don't shoot me. You can't hurt me."
And then what happens?
I can't remember. He disappears him?
No, he shoots himself in the head.
He shoots himself. Neil Breen brings auntie and niece back to life in an awkward scene.
He just sits them up, basically.
He just sits them up and they're fine. The kids have been
they're
pushing
like,
the old
he's
man.
like, come with me, you two. And one of them is still like, no, I don't think so.
I'm not going. I don't want to go. I'm tired. This makes me think that the niece was meant to be about 6.
You got to pay kids so much money nowadays.
All of these characters were meant to be 6, but have been cast as 30-year-olds. That makes so much sense. The kids have been pushing the old man across a field for about an hour now, and they happen upon Breen as he unveils his masterpiece, and the old man is like, I've waited my whole life to see something like this. And it's revealed that what they're looking at is a huge ocean of all the bad dead people in the world. Yes. What a cynical fucking old man.
And he takes Auntie down on a romantic corpse walk.
And very crucially, this ocean of bad people is the same 8 people, like copied and pasted over and over again.
I thought it was full CGI, like in Lord of the Rings. It's sort of a Peter Jackson style scene.
They got wetter in.
I got another one in. He also, during this period of renewal and tying up all the threads, he decides to repair the fence.
Oh, okay.
It just levitates itself back into position.
Because got to keep them out.
Got to keep those immigrants out. And then also, so what happens here is Auntie goes, am I really going?
I'm really going.
You are really going.
And then no one actually explains where she's going, but then she's gone. She's just gone.
Yeah, she's gone. I think he passes on the message through voiceover to say, my work must continue in order to preserve the future of the human race. You must continue to ruthlessly kill harmful people and the PC. Otherwise, this whole race is just going to grind to a halt.
He's really down on the human race.
I swear to God.
Like, we've reached a genetic barrier. We can't go further. It's pretty dark.
He does this now as well, not like over the last 2,000 years. He does so at this stage in human history. It's like, no, this is the worst. Yes, I know poverty is at its lowest rate worldwide, and fewer people are dying in wars, and the highest literacy rate in human history. Whatever. Just, have you seen Made in Chelsea?
Yes. Everyone's just a pussy, says Neil Breen. I hate it.
I can't say ableist slurs anymore. It's too PC.
Fuck me. And how does it end? What's the ending of this piece of shit?
His face goes all ripply, and there's an aurora.
That's it.
And then as he walks into the distance, the bodies sort of disappear with him.
Yeah.
And I can't really tell.
He takes them with him.
Yeah, I guess he packs them up with him. Then there's more of shots of an aurora, I think.
And then they're in the resurrection room, the Renaissance room, sorry. And then that's it. Experience done.
We see a red dot. No. The very last thing that Breen wants us to dream is that we see a black green screen, and there's a red dot in the middle, an awkward little CGI dot, and the dot fades out. Wow.
So we didn't cover the many scenes of Breen and his tiger, which were definitely in the same place.
Yep, definitely in the same place all the time.
And the tiger was definitely not in a snowy mountainside somewhere.
No, they were very careful to zoom in very carefully so you wouldn't be able to tell that.
Well, maybe I'm just not taking it on good faith, just picking out those minor details. It's probably on me.
God, there's always one, isn't there? There's always a nitpicker.
You really got to suspend your disbreen leaf.
And the fact that he can walk into a rock face
many times,
and that a woman, the niece sees this happen and is like, "How did you do it?" And he's like, "Yeah, you're a weird dude." That's her reaction.
Can I smash your face in
odd fella. Fuck me.
But I think this repetition, it's building meaning.
Oh, yeah.
Each time you revisit a scene or he goes into the rock face again, you're actually layering new kind of connotations on top with all the additional things that you've learned.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a tone poem, really. Going back to the same refrain, the same, final thought,
Yeah.
and it's like a tattoo, a drum beat on the mind, on your inner space.
It's a creamy dream.
I think
it's a creamy Breen experience.
I think that might be my good sense trying to claw its way out of my head.
Now, I want to start our conversation here by just saying, I'm really sorry if you're listening to this, Aussie nerd, but this is the shit. And by that, I mean this is the kind of shit that we love. And it's actually the opposite of Sharknado 3, because in Sharknado 3 you can say, then they go to space and cut sharks in half with a lightsaber chainsaw, and it's miserable to watch. In this, Neil Breen slowly twirls around in a stone circle. Sounds like nothing, but I was crying with laughter.
It really is everything.
There's something about
Everything.
I think there's something about just the scattergun editing as well that just never lets you settle down.
I think with this, there's the micro and there's the macro. The micro is the moment-to-moment of the film you're watching, and it's terrible. Inhuman dialogue, terrible performances, amateurish special effects, baffling directorial decisions, awkward editing, bizarre blocking. Everything is inexplicable. No human being who has seen a movie would make any of these decisions. And then you've got the macro, which is how the film is like strung together and how it's structured. And it's rare to see that so terrible. Scenes feel like they're in the wrong order.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of connecting scenes that are missing, a la the Snowman. Subplots drop off into nowhere. There's no fucking sense of what is happening in the first half hour of the film. It's unbelievable.
And it's just on the wrong side of whether this is a visionary masterpiece or not. Because there are so many times where I thought, oh, that's very Kubrickian, or that's very Malickian, or that's very Caruthian, whatever. And just time and time again, you think, if this was done with the right thoughts in the brain there, in the brain,
any thoughts in the brain,
then you're really going for something that's abstract, avant-garde, anti-film. But it's an accident.
Well, I don't.
It's a bad film.
It's really hard to assign intention to this. It's really fucking difficult to get inside the Breen brain. And just...
How do you know what a brick's thinking?
Well, exactly. It's inscrutable. Like, he's done this 5 times, and they're all similar. I've seen Pass-Through, and it's this. Oh, fuck, how do
Double
you...
Down.
Double Down. You've seen Double Down.
They were the same. It's all the same. They're all 2-word titles as well.
It's like the Wiseau vortex, right? Where you just
it's better than Wiseau. It's better than...
It is.
Yeah.
It's that feeling you get from The Room dialed up, right?
Yeah.
Where you just like... The film itself is just wildly entertaining for the myriad ineptitudes in it. But like, there's a fascination to it where you just like, I wish I could watch this film being made.
Yeah.
I wish I could
be Neil Breen's
witness the decisions.
That's where I'm going.
I think it's elevated as well by the fact that there is such aspiration in this filmmaking.
Oh, it's ambitious.
It's not a really prosaic story like The Room.
Yeah.
Or it's not a stupid, overblown disaster movie a la Birdemic.
Yeah.
There's something grand that he's going for here.
Yeah.
And, didn't do it.
I mean, it's similar to Birdemic in as much as he did have that message he wanted to communicate. What interests me most about this and how he compares to those directors, to James Wen and fucking Tommy Wiseau, is the tricky second bad movie syndrome, where you make your movie, you make it seriously, everyone thinks it's terrible, and then you change gear and try to make your next film a comedy, which is what Wen did with Birdemic 2, and what Wiseau did with My Best Fiend. And those films are not well liked, They're generally seen as being too self-aware. You know, once you're actually trying to make a comedy, and that's bad, we've discussed before, comedy has a tough time being so bad it's good. Breen has done this 5 times. He hasn't
He believes in his
course-corrected.
vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is the 4th
Everything's done
one.
with the utmost sincerity and dedication.
And he's not getting better. And he's not he's not changing
He's not
direction.
learning anything.
If this is a comedy, if he set out to make this a comedy, he's a fucking genius. But I don't he's a Breenius. But I don't know if he did. I think he just
I can't make that leap that this is intentional. My brain can't get there.
I can't survive if this is actually intentional. There's not room for
like
this and me to exist in the same space.
It's like a shark in space. I'm just gonna I can't make it.
Oh,
Fuck
God.
me.
What did I say to you by text, Paul? I was like, I just want this guy's confidence.
Yeah.
Like, I want to wake up feeling how Neil Breen feels about projects, you know, where he's
Morning, world.
I'm going to change the world by writing a movie where I'm an AI from the future who comes down and just vanishes all the bad people, and then it tells everyone on TV how to sort their shit out, and I'm going to change the world. It's going to be great.
Fuck me, what a man. What an interesting man.
And we've been through this a few times, right? When you're making this kind of thing, you do need that conviction and confidence. You need to believe that you're a fucking genius. You need to believe that you are literally Jesus of films.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not going to be able to pull this off. And to be able to do this consistently.
It's the Kanye mood.
It's the Kanye mood. He's easy.
Yeah, I'd say Breen definitely has the fucking Kanye mood. Fuck me, the last thing I can think to say about this whole thing is that I really strongly do not recommend that people watch just a YouTube clip of highlights. Because I had a look at one. It's not right. I had a look at one on my way home. And it's just, you can't tell which inexplicable editing decisions are the editors or Breen. And you've got to know. You've got to know which ones are which. So I can only recommend that you watch this properly.
Context is so important here.
Yeah.
In that there isn't any. And that's what is so great about it.
I don't know if I'd have laughed as hard at Neil Breen gently twirling around in a rock circle if it hadn't been preceded by 5 minutes of him wandering over to it.
No, exactly.
Fuck, is there anything anyone wants to say before we quickfire?
No, I think I'm good.
I think I'm spent, yeah.
I feel so giddy.
I'm sweating. There's a mess to clean up on my stomach. I'm ready to move on. Stop the fucking presses. We've got a two-man.
No way.
Really?
Oh, free to a man.
I shit you not. Alicia Stokes Navarro, who plays Immigrant in this, was uncredited as a cocktail waitress in Paul Blart Mall Cop 2.
No.
Oh my god.
Fuck me. Why did the spreadsheet not show this? Oh, I'm worried now. I feel like I have to check this manually.
It's worth it.
We've got to find those. Got to find those Threeman.
That's amazing that someone connects our filmography like that. You know what? I bet my notes for Paul Blart was an early one. I bet my notes aren't that complete. Fuck me, a second two-man.
Oh, free to...
Tom Bonello played fucking... Who did he play? Tim Guard?
Okay.
Tim Guard in this. But he also played a conventioneer and security guard, uncredited, in Paul Blart Mall Cop 2.
It's cross-pollination.
What is going on?
Hollywood
Neil Breen
Insiders.
Kevin James?
Is this his most successful character yet? Fucking hell. I was just looking at the people with profile pictures, but I need to look at everyone to find out if he managed to pilfer any more actors from the set of a Kevin James movie. Well, that guy was in Human Centipede 3. We'll get round to that. So I need to go back and... A third one!
Oh.
John Marchetti plays an exec in Pass-Through. Played hotel guest in Paul Blart Mall Cop 2.
They must be all from the same extras agency, right?
They must be.
Oh, God, I feel really sad.
It's worth saying all these people are uncredited in Paul Blart Mall Cop 2, but here play, like, main characters. Alright, guys, we've got to get to this. Let's quickfire. Quickfire. I'll just quickly say grandma getting shot, and then and then grandchild getting shot. Amazing. Just shot of the person, shot of the gun firing, shot of person on the ground. It's fabulous.
Oh, fuck. I just remembered that.
That actually reminds me of, I'm getting out of here now! Bang.
I'm getting out of here. Now.
Oh, when the guy is like, the guard is like stood in front of him as he says that.
Yes.
Yes,
And he just gets shot.
He's half an inch from this guy.
Now's my
Gun
chance.
pointed at his chest.
Don't fancy your chances, Mr. Guard.
I think the guard has nodded off. I can go. Oh,
And
God.
similarly, I'll group in my amusing deaths here as well. So there's also they're in the house. They've separated the men and the women, and the women are in a house. And the badass lady goes up to the bathroom door, and she's like, "Get out of the damn shower," because you let your prisoners shower for some reason.
Yeah.
And they open the door, and she's hanging herself, and she just goes, "Oh,
yeah.
damn."
You've been in that shower long enough. Get out of the shower. Oh, damn. I need some help in here.
I need some help.
And the hanging as well.
pathos.
Well, the reason I imagine the
so
reason
wrong.
that she didn't help her was because she didn't look like she was actually in any real danger. She was just a bit of slack in the belt, and she was standing up and leaning forward. She's trying though.
Oh, fucking
Okay,
love it.
so
Goodman?
I'll group in a few really wonderful awkward moments. So when Breen is breeding out his van and throwing all the cans out, and
Yeah.
it goes from him really clumsily chucking them out to the shot of the aunt just freaking out over all the cans being thrown past her and just saying, "What's going on? What
Yeah.
is this?
What is happening?"
Oh no! Oh god! Over and over again. And then it ends with the biggest, cheesiest grin. The biggest, cheesiest grin from Neil Breen. It's a patchwork quilt made by God. But the other two worth tying into this is Neil Breen repeatedly waking up and then scrabbling for empty bottles and cans while somebody tells him to get a move on. It's almost anti-comedy because it goes on for so long. And he keeps gathering cans that are rolling away from him, and he doesn't stop.
they go blow away, and he grabs them.
And
oh no!
And then the other one is when they're closing the van doors on the crowd of immigrants, and they're screaming.
Oh, that was my next one. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. They've been crowded. There were 2 shots of people being crowded into containers here. And the first one is just a bloke stood there, and a guy goes to close the door, and then he lets go of the first part of the door to go get the other one, and the guy just sort of ineffectively pushes it back open again. They could easily just walk away, but we remain in this long shot, and it happens again later when there's a whole group of people all screaming hysterically about being stuck in this fucking thing.
And they have ample time to get out.
Oh, God. It's amazing.
When they meet Jim in the mine, and he goes, "That's why I made up the ghost legend, to scare everyone away." And you're just like, did I miss something? Did I have an aneurysm? What ghost? What's happening?
You know, the ghost legends like they have in the caves.
And then, of course, as we already mentioned, but it's worth highlighting again, is as afterwards, Neil Breen looking at him and going, "Now you are free of PTSD." And, oh my god, I fucking nearly lost it at that line. It's so good.
Beautiful.
The
There
very
are so many wonderful lines.
I love the bit where he says, well, I think it's Aunt who says, "Will I ever see you again?" And Neil Breen says, "Yes, you can teach me about sensitivity and having a conscience." Which is rich, considering you just killed 300 million people. You could teach me how to feel bad about anything I do ever.
He's closer to Thanos than we might think.
Is she at any point in the film sensitive? She's sensitive
Yeah.
to cans.
She's very sensitive about cans. She hates them. She can't stand them being thrown gently past her.
Just confuses her. Look, I will say that some of the places they chose to film are very nice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's some nice rocks. There's some nice sweeping vistas. There's some very awkward drone work to capture those things, but they are nice to look at nonetheless. And also the mine that they go into is an awesome location with those kind of steep fissures with the light coming through. I mean, Neil obviously thinks they're really good because there's a point where the film just stops so that he can look up.
Yes.
And he just looks up at the sky.
He's probably just
He
looking
can
up
see
at his
through the
drone.
rocks.
I love that drone. I love that Breen.
And I liked some of those locations. They were great.
I like how the camera moves in a Malickian manner over the landscapes, or the drone moves like Terence
via
Malick
drone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. The last thing that I will say, I enjoyed the little angry gang leader woman. I think she was like a lean, mean Pam
she was
Grier.
the best.
Can I just mention one last one?
Yeah.
Please do.
It has to be the magic piano scene.
Oh my
for me.
god, I fucking forgot about that.
God.
Fucking
That's because it doesn't connect to anything. They're wandering around the desert, I guess, and the niece. This is another scene that shows that she's probably meant to be about 6 years old. She's like, "Yay! There's an old broken down piano," and she tries to play it, and then Auntie's like, "It doesn't work. Leave it alone." And Neil's like, "No, sit back down. Let's try it again."
It's never too late. Music's magical, universal. It's timeless. Ready?
He announces that music is universal and wonderful and brilliant and magical.
And timeless.
And then they proceed to play complete nonsense on the piano. It's not even music.
But not even play. They just, like, their hands are moving, but obviously the sounds we're hearing are not corresponding to the fucking things they're doing with their hands. It's fabulous. It really
But they just chose nonsense sounds. It's like blinky blonky blinky blonky. It's like, yes, it's timeless music.
It's very minimalist. It's actually Steve Reich. Fucking hell.
Oh, hang on. There's a bit that he says in one of his voiceovers where he's like, "We're all in a web, and anything humans do to that web will affect them as well." And I was like, I agree with that. It's true.
Yeah.
People should be more mindful of how we're all interconnected with the environment and the systems and everything.
Yeah, people.
And I was like, hey, that's okay. I get that. I agree with you, Neil.
One people down their own bits in their own countries.
Absolutely. Best not mix. My last one is a line I actually thought was quite good. It's not something I necessarily completely agree with, but I'm not sure. It's something to think about, you know? And that's interesting for any part of this film that wasn't just think about how ridiculous this is. It is interesting. And it was the line...
If it can be destroyed by the truth, it deserves to be destroyed by the truth.
I forgot to Google to see if he ripped that off somewhere. Let me just do that now.
Did you see at the end of the movie, there was a little reference list, like a little bibliography of people that he'd taken quotes from?
Okay, right. Well, that was surprising. Here we go. Okay, there's a lot of controversy about who that should be attributed to. There's an article that I don't have time to read now. It starts Carl Sagan, ? PC Hodgel, Kirian, Anonymous. I'm going to add to that list Neil Breen. Was it Neil Breen? So yeah, that's a common quote. But hey, it's not something I was aware of before.
Cool.
So yeah, apparently it is often attributed to Carl Sagan, but that is controversial. So, Okay, everyone. Before we move on to the OG team, I have a very solemn announcement. Terrible flaws have been found in the OGT Threeman database.
It's like Swiss cheese in there.
Yeah, it is. In the early days, it was not completed fully. This is something that we're going to have to revisit and fully guard against. It may well have to be reconstructed. Now, I have added the full cast to Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. And have made the following discoveries. A tremendous number of two-men, many of whom were also in Neil Breen's pass-through. More significantly, Jackie Sandler is currently a 6-man.
What?
And Chris Titone is a 5-man.
Jeez.
Oh, free to a man, free in the bush, free, yo. Films are shit, mate.
Let us all bow our heads in reverence.
What was happening in that part of the world at that time?
What, the part where the Threeman database was constructed, or where Jackie
No,
Sandler
the overlap
did
between Paul Blart and Pass-Through.
What happened to those
Where
people?
are they now? Are they lost?
Which one came first?
Can we put out a sort of search for them?
Oh, Paul Blart came first. That was like 20... When was it, actually? I'm going to say mid-noughties. What is this? Holy shit, I'm terrified. 2015, the year
And
before. Where is the Wynn Resort Las Vegas? Did Neil fucking Breen show up and kidnap these people from the set of Paul Blart Mall Cop 2? Did he show up like a fucking shaman and lead them into the desert?
Paul, I want so badly for Neil Breen to be a spectre in Adam Sandler and Kevin James movies. I saw him again.
Pied Piper of Breen. Fuck me, I bet this was filmed around Las Vegas. Because fucking what's it called is set near Las Vegas. Double
God.
Down.
He probably just lives in Nevada.
God.
It's a Hollywood
traipses
Yeah,
the plains.
he's in that desert, and every so often he just gets a camera out and films part of his life.
What a discovery.
All right, did we get anything from that OGT?
You're going to be very surprised here, Paul. Not only did we not get anything from the OG team,
They sucked some of the old ones back.
we no longer have an OG team. They're gone. Neil Breen has them.
Abandoned
Neil
us.
Breen turned them into dust.
He's led them into the desert to film the next
In
fucking
human
film.
terms, he killed them all.
Oh, Jesus
Thanks,
Christ.
OGT.
Yeah, thanks for nothing. No, sorry. Did that sound sarcastic? I mean, thank you for the nothing that you gave us.
Thank you for having not seen it. No, everyone has to see this. Are we going to do better things? The one better thing? Or are we just urging people with all of our fucking hearts to watch Neil Breen's
Well, I took my
Pass-Through?
recommendation a slightly left field. So what I was going to recommend on the basis of this, not necessarily better than, but if you want to see a good depiction of how corruption and abuse of power really plays out in the real world, and you like documentaries, check out, I think it's a 2005 film. It's called Enron, the Smartest Guys in the Room. And it's all about the origins of the financial crisis from the sort of the inside of Enron, who completely got wiped out by their part in what happened in basically ruining the housing bubble. And, you know, apart from, instead of thinking about corruption and elites, you know, being as some sort of distant, weird, malign force, this shows like how people make everyday decisions that affect everyone in the world by being greedy and corrupt. And it's worthwhile delving in to see how that really happens in reality.
Cool.
Great.
Good
Well,
stuff.
I wrote down Tree of Life. So we all had this when we saw this film where we thought, oh, that's very such and such. That's very insert name of groundbreaking author or Terence Malick. And it definitely has similarities in terms of the sort of spirituality and some of the directing and the interludes where Neil Breen is quoting someone with these really weird mystical, enigmatic voiceovers. But then it's like you said, I really think that people should watch this before they watch Tree of Life.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with Tree of Life at this stage. Tree of Life is just irrelevant to the conversation of Pass-Through. You have to see this because there's nothing like it. Maybe like Neil Breen's other films. But then I was reading reviews of Neil Breen movies, and one of them was saying, is there a most recent one after Pass-Through?
Yeah, there is. It's
something Pear?
Fuck, Twisted Pear?
Twisted Pear.
Yeah, that's it. And I think it was in The Independent or something, and like something crazy. And like they congratulated Neil Breen on just managing to make another completely original piece of anti-cinema that stands out as different from all of his other movies. I think that this is just a journey. I really feel like from the moment Phil recommended this and I saw the DVD art, that I just wasn't ready for this. I wasn't ready for this.
You can't be ready for this.
No. Are you all ready for this? No, is the answer to that. I think that seeing more Neil Breen now is the only way forward. And I can't recommend it enough for the listeners at home. The listeners at Breen.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, my only one better thing could be Pass-Through, but really, fuck me, could be Double Down. It's Pass-Through. Pass-Through is the one better thing. Watch it, you pricks.
Watch it. Everyone watch it.
The one better thing.
You may not be prepared before you watch it, but you will be ready afterwards.
For anything.
Spiritually. That was the one better thing. Okay. Phil, do you want to tell people about how to get a hold of
Sure
the Baby
thing.
Beards?
You can find all our podcasts on Spreaker, Spotify now, and iTunes. They're on any podcatcher really that you care to use. We're not exclusive like that. You do you. It's all good. Our main one is a Futurama podcast where we look at all of the episodes of Futurama, episode by episode, to find the best one overall, and that's called Shut Up and Take My Podcast. If you want to speak to us directly, find us on Facebook or Instagram, or email us at Philip. That's my email address. Email us at babybeardmedia@gmail.com. Nailed it.
Call me on my home number.
Pros.
My Medicard number.
Here's my pen. Use that. And yeah, we'll see you in court.
I'll see you on my doorstep next week.
Paul, how can people find out about the One Breen thing?
If people want to get in touch, they can get through to us, finally, at long last, at Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at ogtpod. You can send us an email at gmail at ogtpod@gmail.com. iTunes and Podbean and Stitcher and YouTube.
Yeah, I said that already, yeah.
Yeah, say it again, but for us. Not allowed.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Thanks, Phil. and thanks, Phil, for coming on. It was great.
Oh, no, that's all right. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. For letting us watch Neil Breen and for letting me just spruik our own podcast at the end there.
Oh, it's the least I can do.
It really is. No, it was awesome. Thanks so much, man.
Yeah, it's always wonderful. And this, for audience members to know, is how we're anticipating going forward with the Baby Beards. We're going to have you one at a time.
Yeah, because otherwise it's just chaos.
Yeah.
It is chaos, but also we just want to get the most value out of each one of you. We want to ring you out, get all that gold. Great.
I'm Paul, recently used washcloth.
I'm Phil, the cleanse has begun.
And remember, the one good thing about Neil Breen's pass-through is it'll do a lot more than just pass through you. Change every atom it encounters like fucking radiation.
Radiation.